Let's wait for the YouTube to wake up here. The YouTube always wakes up the slowest. Here it is. Yes. What's up, everybody? I hope you are all well. I hope you are having a wonderful Friday. It is Friday. This is the patron stream. This is where I respond to the patrons, give some Patreon news and some Get Your News On With Ron news, and look at the stuff that you all drop for me in the Patreon comment section. Hope everyone is well. Hope you're having a wonderful Friday. So some of you guys have been asking, Ron, are you going to do another protest track? What other songs are you working on? I am working on a new one. So we got Love Me, I'm a Liberal is out now. And the next one will be Ain't Been Called Nothing If You Ain't Been Called a Red, or Ain't Been Doing Nothing If You Ain't Been Called a Red. That's going to be next. And we should be recording that soon if all goes as planned. And I'm working on a third one that is not done yet, but I'm tweaking it. And I want to give a sneak peek to the patrons. So I'm going to do that. If not today, definitely at some point in the next couple days, that video is going to be up. I wasn't going to do it right now on this thing, but whenever I played music on a stream, sometimes it just comes across choppy. I don't know if it's because of a lag or why exactly. I've been working on it for a long time to try to solve that issue, and I still have not been able to. I don't know what it is. Eventually, I'm going to have to get like some kind of audio person in to kind of, take a look-see or whatever. But yeah, so I'm going to make that video and just pre-record it and post it on the Patreon later. But I am working on a third song, and there's going to be some music folks involved with that project. So I'm real excited about it. And yeah, I was tweaking it last night. I think I got about 2 verses done, and I'm working on a third. So I'm going to be making a sneak peek video for the patrons where I'm going to announce what song it is and, see what you guys think of it. See if you dig it. Right on. All right. So Dominic, you share this. What's up, Dominic? I hope you're well. I hope everything is killer. Here we go. Boom. This is from Jacobin. If Bernie actually wins this thing, he'll need a reliable vice president. And this article is making the case for Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin to be Bernie's VP pick. And it's talking about how Bernie Sanders is famously not a Democrat. This fact has been both a source of strength and a line of attack by party loyalists. With Democratic Party voters, that's going to be much easier than the party insiders, imagine. So they're basically saying people like Bernie Sanders, but as far as the establishment's concerned, it's still Bernie Sanders versus everyone. So what this person's saying is that you need somebody who's gonna get the insiders to go along with stuff. So here's what they say for Tammy Baldwin. Baldwin has consistently been one of the most progressive members of Congress and the Senate on the 2 issues where Sanders has most distinguished himself from the rest of the field, foreign policy and healthcare. Baldwin has a record that approaches Sanders. This is according to the article. I'm not super fluent in Tammy Baldwin. I can't speak to her entire voting record. I went on her website, and she doesn't have like an actual like straight up these are the issues section, and I don't like it when a politician doesn't have that. I just like having like just an issues tab where I can be like, where do you stand on everything? And I want to just go through it one thing at a time. That's not super detrimental one way or another. I'm just expressing a preference on what I like in a candidate's website. But according to this article, so she voted against the Iraq War and the Patriot Act. That's good. Was one of the staunchest critics of George W. Bush foreign and military policy. That's good. Since 2000, she has also sponsored legislation establishing a single-payer healthcare system. That's good. And is one of the 14 Senate co-sponsors of Sanders' Medicare for All bill. Those are all good things. Baldwin's career in Congress is uniquely suited to enacting Sanders' agenda. 2 of the 7 major bills she sponsored that became law dealt with veteran and maternity health care. According to GovTrack, 24% of bills sponsored by Baldwin have been related to health care, her single largest category. If Sanders does indeed make a major overhaul of the U.S. healthcare system, his first legislative priority, a vice president with Baldwin's record and experience would be the best choice to shepherd that effort through Congress as his right-hand person and tie-breaking vote. Okay, interesting. And they're talking about how she won in a landslide and, why the running mate still matters, which of course it does. If absolutely nothing else, for true optics sake, the running mate does indeed matter. Now, um, you know, if we're going to just talk about the VP pick, I'm still hoping for a Bernie Tulsi ticket. And the main reason I'm hoping for a Bernie Tulsi ticket is not because I agree with either candidate on everything or because I think either candidate is perfect, but because I think as far as getting those unlikely voters, people who are going to stay home otherwise, people who are on the fence and undecided, people who maybe bought Trump snake oil the first time but are a little weary of buying it a second time, I think that ticket really gets the largest amount of that sect. And keep in mind, the biggest voting block are the people who don't vote. That's the biggest voting block. I think a Bernie Tulsi ticket really brings those people in and brings them to the table. I do think it's important as far as Tammy Baldwin is concerned, who, I'm not as familiar with, but I do think it's important that Bernie chooses a woman. I really want to see him choose a woman. I just think for optics' sake, it's definitely the best thing to do. And there are so many, there's so many very qualified women in and outside of politics that would be excellent choices for him. So I do think I really want to see him choose a woman. And here's what he had to say about that last night. I got this from Hoot Hoot Burns. And I want to share this. So Bernie was asked this specific thing, and here's what he said. Here, hold on. Let's let me get the volume up for y'all.
So undecided. Janine, welcome.
Thank you, Senator Sanders, for being here. Will you name a running mate before the convention, and will it be a woman? Because why not? I'm not available, though.
Oh, I was just going to ask you, Janine. I think that's one way to get your vote. That is a good question, and we may very well do it. And look, let me just say this. This is my promise to you, is that my administration, my cabinet, will look more like America in terms of gender equality, in terms of racial equality, than any administration in American history. I'm very proud that our campaign right now is enormously diverse. And that's what our administration will look like. And, between you and me, don't tell anybody, all right? Please keep it just between you and me. Yeah, my inclination, if at all possible, what I want from a vice president is somebody whose worldview is similar to mine. And there are a lot of, brilliant women out there who hold that view. So we will be looking at that.
So can you commit to saying you would want to have a woman vice president or a person of color?
Yeah, I don't want to commit. It's always, I don't want to commit, but my inclination is to say yes.
All right.
Now that doesn't satisfy you all the way, I know, but
Yeah, I see where he's coming from there, but I wish he just would have said yeah, because now CNN gets the headline they want, which is Bernie won't commit to a woman president. Bernie's not sure. But again, there's a lot of great choices out there. I think both ends. Obviously Nina Turner would be an excellent choice. Tulsi Gabbard is my first choice. I think she'd be an excellent choice. And Tammy Baldwin, I'm still learning about, but this article makes the case for her. People have brought up just kind of getting a total political outsider. I think that would be an interesting choice too. I think it should be, I think my first choice would definitely be a woman and somebody younger as well. You don't want to have, and I guess the reason I say that in particular is because I don't want that woman to be Liz Warren. It can't just be any woman, obviously. It needs to be a woman who would be a good vice president and who would be aligned with the point of view Sanders has. So the types of policies that we all want to see. So there you go. This article makes the case for Tammy Baldwin, who again I'm not fluent with, but I think I think the best way to go is to get somebody who's kind of in the spotlight, who has already kind of built something, which again kind of goes back to Tulsi Gabbard. You know, she has a very dedicated grassroots following. She's turning a lot of heads. She has an approach to foreign policy that is a little nuanced. And with the disaster that has been our foreign policy for so long, a nuanced approach, especially one that wants to seek diplomacy, that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. So so that's kind of where I'm still leaning, but yeah, cool. All right. That is a I wish you just would have said yeah. I wish you just would have been like, yeah, because he's got to have, you know, a list of candidates. But I get it that, like, obviously there's a lot of people who are men who would also make great VPs. So I get it. He doesn't want to close the door on anything. I get that. But now CNN's just going to twist this, because that's what they always do. They twist it, and they're so stoked that they get to do that now. I guarantee, keep an eye out. We're going to see that headline. Sanders won't commit to a woman. He won't do it. He just won't do it. That's what they're going to do. They're going to get what they want. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. Kate, would you consider, thank you very much for your super chat contribution. Kate, would you consider changing the lyrics to I Got My Mind Set on You by George Harrison? It's my personal Bernie fight song. I've definitely heard of that song before, and I'm sure I've heard it. It's just not registering right away for me. I'd have to re-listen to it. My gut reaction is that George Harrison is going to be too complicated musically for me. That's my gut reaction. Could be wrong. Maybe it won't be, Kate, but I'm not a fantastic guitar player. I'm very average at best, and it's mostly a hobby. And the thing about these, a lot of these folk protest songs back in the day, they're not very complicated to play. They're very basic songs with just basic cowboy chords is what they used to be called back in the day. You know, your very just basic chord structures, because they're meant to be sing-alongs, and they're meant to be, they're kind of meant to be just played by a group of people. You know what I mean? Where it's just like one person has a guitar, maybe one person has a banjo, and they're just like, hey, let's play This Land Is Your Land. Let's play Love Me Up, whatever it is. You know, they're meant to be very, very theme-esque and very anthem-esque and very very hymn-esque. You know what I mean? So they're not very complicated to play, to make a long answer longer. But George Harrison, I will check that out. I will definitely check that out, Kate. Patrick Leslie, what's up? Somebody finally said Russia regarding the Iowa caucus. Do you have an info email I can send the YouTube link to? Of course I do. Go to ronplacone.com. There's a contact tab. You hit that contact tab and you email me whatever you want. That's the best way to email me. And sometimes when I tell people that, they don't believe me. I don't know if it's because it's a contact form, and sometimes people don't like that. They think it's like less personal. But that is the best way to get something directly to my inbox. Whenever someone uses that form, it goes directly to me straight. And that's easier than, you know, shouting out an email address or whatever. Just ronplacone.com. There's a contact button. Hit it, fill it out, go straight to me. So, yeah, email me that way, Patrick. And what are they saying? What do they say? I haven't heard. Now, they scared us about Russia before the Iowa caucus. They said, we can't tell you anything about this app. Real reason they couldn't tell us anything about the app was because some red flags might go off where you're like, that's weird. There's a lot of conflicts of interest here. That's kind of strange. But why did they tell you that they can't tell you anything about the app? Well, because Russia will hack it if we say anything, even though that's completely and utterly ridiculous. We can't tell you anything. Russia might hack it. Shucks. And by the way, here in California, where I live, we're going to use voting machines that they're also keeping us in the dark about and have never been used before. They're keeping us in the dark about it. Almost got it Irish there for a second. Patrick Leslie also took a pic of a Pete ad on Facebook claiming that dark money donors for Bernie Sanders are overwhelming Pete, the people's champion. I saw that. Yeah, Pete is claiming that on Facebook, which is quite comical. And he also somebody was trying to share the Jimmy Dore show video that we did, where we were very critical of Mayor Pete Buttigieg, and that's being flagged as a misinformation video. I tweeted out a screenshot that somebody sent me when it happened to them, and of course they gave me permission to share it. They sent it to me, and I said, "Is it okay if I share this?" They said yes. So yeah, and Pete Buttigieg, Mark Zuckerberg, good friends, by the way. They're buddies. This is why Silicon Valley shouldn't be deciding what is and isn't free speech. Just saying, this is why Silicon Valley shouldn't be deciding what is and isn't free speech. Let's see. What else? Bernie, after last night's ambush, said this morning. It's nice to be here where I'm not treated like the enemy of the people. Yeah. Was he at a I'm taking it he was at an event. How can an opinion video from a comedian be misinformation? Great question. Yeah, exactly. How can it's ridiculous what they're doing. And it's so ridiculous that, you know, when you look at what the corporate media does on a daily basis, and you look at what you kind of look at what we're up against, and they're singling out content creators on YouTube and just people on Twitter as being these chaos disinformation agents, when it's like, well, hang on, we have a media structure that's owned by Comcast and Rupert Murdoch and people who aren't interested in news and information at all. And they misreport things constantly, and they have these war rallies constantly, and they're inadvertently pro-war because that's where their funding comes from. And they're inadvertently for the status quo because they're getting rich off of it. So they don't want to talk about anything that's actually going on domestically. And they're funded by oil and gas, so they don't talk honestly about climate change. And they're funded by big cable, so they don't talk honestly about what we need to do to preserve a free and open internet. And they're busy just scaring us about all these foreign boogeyman, whether it be Russia or Ukraine Gate or this impeachment thing, which, by the way, has backfired completely, as many of us were predicting it would. And meanwhile, the big problem here, oh, no, it's deep fake videos. Deep fake videos that people are making to make Nancy Pelosi sound drunk. Which, you know when Nancy Pelosi sounds drunk? When she speaks. Whenever she speaks, she can barely put together a sentence. That's just true. Just listen to her. But well, when you slow it down, she sounds drunk, and that's sowing discord. That's important. That's sowing discord. So if people see this, what's going to happen? They might hurt her feelings. Aren't you concerned about Nancy Pelosi's feelings? Aren't you concerned about that? No, I'm not. I don't care. So that's happening. Let me see what else the patrons have left for me. And then that'll be it. Keep a lookout for that song. That I will be posting to directly on the Patreon. So Podcast by George, you've been on the ground. Podcast by George shared this with me. Podcast by George has been caucusing in Iowa, and but you said you wanted to talk about it, and I responded to you. I said it's been a circus, and I haven't heard back yet. But Podcast by George on the boots, on the ground in Iowa. Thank you for being on the ground in Iowa. I'd imagine it's been a pretty crazy week, and you know, it's so sad to see people. I mean, keep in mind, people left their homes for this. They left their homes. A lot of them are volunteering. They're not getting paid. Savage Joy, who was on this show, she left her home in Pennsylvania on her own dime. She's volunteering. She's not getting paid to go knock on doors for Bernie, to go canvass, to go do all these things. And there are many people with that similar story. And this is what people are subjected to. this blatant hijack of our election system. And this has been going on for a long time. This is nothing new. This is similar to what they did in 2016. It's even worse, I think. It's even more in your face this time. And, you know, we're supposed to just passively accept this. And they're going to try. I mean, it's like, and some of you guys are saying like, hey, Bernie, like Bernie did win. And it's like, yeah, it's, that's great. And of course, like Bernie is winning. But keep in mind, if there weren't people on the ground that were exposing this stuff, a lot of it would have just went through uncritically. We wouldn't have had all of these red flags go up. They would have just pushed it through and said Deval Patrick got all these votes. They would have just let that go uncritically had people not sounded the alarm, had people not been there double checking things. And that's what's going to, I hope that people realize this needs to happen in all 50 states, everywhere. You have to be, Bernie's campaign is going to have people at every location, every single one, double checking stuff. People are going to have to be on the ground with their cameras ready. And I know I've said this on the show before. You guys have heard me say this many times, but I feel like it bears repeating. Like when you go out to vote, have your camera ready. Especially if you live in California like me. We talked about all the red flags going on in California already. We know about them. If you're no party preference, you have to say the magic words to get you can't just say I need a Democratic ballot, or they're going to be like, well, we're not entitled to give you that. But you have to say what were the magic words? Like Democratic correctional ballot or something like that. You have to say those magic words. You can go watch the video where we break it down, because Lee Camp broke it down in an article. And if you don't say those magic words, you're not going to get the ballot you need to vote for president. You have to be adamant about if you get a provisional ballot, which if you do, it's not going to get counted. If you get handed a provisional ballot, your vote is not crossover ballot. Thank you guys. Crossover ballot. Crossover ballot. That's what you need to say. Democratic crossover ballot. And that's the only way you can vote for president. If you don't say those magic words, you're not going to get to vote for president. If you're getting handed a provisional ballot, your vote's not getting counted. It's just the reality. Your vote is not getting counted. Those are all things you need to be aware of. And if you do get handed a provisional ballot, which might happen to you, it might happen to me, turn your camera on. That's the best thing you can do. Turn your camera on. Don't blame the person who handed it to you. It's not their fault. They're just someone who's volunteering their time, or they're getting compensated very little. They're just trying to do the right thing. It's not their fault. Don't yell at them, but turn the camera on and say what's happening. And if they tell you, don't worry, your vote will be counted, you can politely disagree. You can say, you know what, I don't think that's the case. I'm sorry. That's not the case. It's not getting counted. But anyway, you guys get the idea. And that is what it's going to take to be so loud that they can't cheat again. So I guess the one thing, the kind of one, like, to put a positive take on all this, at least now we know definitively this is what it's going to take to be so loud they can't cheat Bernie again. First of all, we need to be overly prepared and overly. I mean, Bernie needs to win by a lot. He needs to have an overwhelming amount of more votes. That's the first thing. Second, that campaign needs to have people monitoring everywhere. They did it in Iowa. They need to do it in every state, and it needs to be the campaign. It needs to be the campaign. That's the second thing they need. Third thing they need, independent media on the ground everywhere, filming coin tosses, filming everything, and documenting it and posting it. Fourth, calling out the DNC for its corruption directly, ratioing Tom Perez on Twitter. Yes, that stuff does matter. The media goes to the blogosphere when they report things now. It does make a difference. Fifth thing we need to be on the ground as citizens too. You need to be ready to turn your camera on. You need to be ready to record something and get in touch with somebody who can help you spread whatever information it needs to be spread, whether it's a corrupt coin toss, whether you got a provisional ballot, whatever it may be. Anything corrupt that you see. It is going to take all of those things and nothing less to overcome the cheating that they're going to try to do. This is just, Iowa was just one state. It was just one state. We got 49 more. Krillin, what's up? Thank you for the super chat contribution. Was I dreaming? You may have been. Is any of this really real, Krillin? Are any of us really awake? Is this all a dream? Did Jimmy really call out the CIA on Fox News? I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah, I think he was on Tucker Carlson recently. And yeah, I think he did. Now, as far as were you dreaming, do you mean in that particular, for instance, Krillin? Or do you mean in general? Do you mean in general, was I dreaming? We're all dreaming, right? I haven't been remembering my dreams for a while, actually. I can't remember the last one I remembered, which I think is a good thing. I think when you don't remember your dreams, it means you're like not super stressed, right? Which I guess I'm kind of stressed at the moment. I mean, I'm getting married soon. That brings a certain amount of stress with it. Damien, what's up? Thank you very much for the super chat contribution. You gave me a pear with a thumbs up. You know that I love those freaking pears with thumbs up. That's awesome. But yeah, Krillin, you know. Tisha, see you in Arizona. Welcome to our red state. I will see you in Arizona too, Tisha. Where am I going to see you at? Am I going to see you in Tucson or am I going to see you in Tempe? Because I'll be in Tucson on Saturday. I'll be in Tempe on Sunday, which, by the way, brings me to my next point. Tour dates, I got them. You know it. I know it. We know it, which is awesome. Tucson, Arizona, February 8th. San Francisco, California, February 29th. Orlando, Florida, March 12th. Tampa, Florida, March 13th. Miami, Florida, March 14th. Going into April 9th, I'll be at Concord University. April 10th, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. April 24th, Seattle, Washington. April 25th, Portland, Oregon. May 14th, Indianapolis, Indiana, baby. May 15th, Detroit, Michigan. May 16th, Cleveland, Ohio. June 19th, Louisville, Kentucky. June 20th, Nashville, Tennessee. June 21st, Atlanta. Hold tight. Tickets are coming. And we have tickets available and shows announced all throughout the year. Chicago, we're coming. Milwaukee, we're coming. New York City, Boston, Mass, Portland, Maine, Burlington, Vermont, Madison, Wisconsin, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Yeah, you know it. We got it. Yeah. Ron Placone, stop smoking weed before you go to sleep. Excess cannabinoids in the bloodstream really limits lucid dreaming. You know, that's interesting. So I've been using the pain oil that was sent to me, the trendy pain oil that was sent to me. I've been rubbing that on my neck, and it's actually been working very well, by the way. Now, I believe that that's just cannabis oil. But I guess I wonder if maybe that's having an effect. There's not THC in it. It's just like a cannabis oil, I believe. I forget all the ingredients, but so maybe that's doing it. Huh? That's interesting. Yeah, because I've been putting that on my neck right before I go to bed. And it has been working. My neck's been feeling a lot better. CBD is a cannabinoid. Yeah, CBD is not in it. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I'm not sure exactly. I'll have to figure that out. But maybe that's why. That's why. Oh, the dude said it does have to. Oh, so it does have THC. I thought he said he didn't. All right. Okay. All right. So it does have THC. All right. Well, anyway, whatever. I forget. I forget what he said was and wasn't in it. But yeah, maybe that's it. That could be it. So I mean, it sounds like it likely is, but I forget what exactly is all in it. Dudist Priest, what's up, buddy? You've heard of the dangers of glyphosates. Iowa is a farm state, but I never knew that it messes with one's ability to perform basic math functions. Yeah, I don't think it was the math that was the problem. I think it was the corruption that's the problem. That's what I think. What did you do to your neck? You know, I go to the gym. I try to do my due diligence. And, you know, occasionally my neck just gets sore. Nothing specific. Just, you know, occasionally my neck gets sore. And this has been helping with that. It doesn't get like unnecessarily sore or like unbearably sore, but a little sore. I used it. Not my neck. I didn't use my neck. I don't lift with my neck, but you get the idea. You get the idea. But yeah, that's it, you know, and it gets a little sore. And this has, it helps. It actually really helps a lot. So, you know, that's been pretty cool. Krillin, what's up? Upside Down World CBD ads on Hannity radio show. Really? Seriously? CBD ads are on Hannity's radio show. That's nuts. That is nuts. All right. That's interesting. Who saw that coming? I guess when what's his name? Boehner. When Boehner got involved with pot. I guess that's when like the tide shifted. Because the right was like, we can make money on this. We can make money on this. All right. Reefer Revolution, got my ballot in California. President is on the last page. Bernie is in the second column, second to last on that list. I've heard that. I have heard that Bernie is like next to last in the California ballot. In fact, we covered that on this show. We did mention that. So, but, and that's I mean, come on. We know that's intentional. But people are going to seek out Bernie's name, I think. You've been listening to too much Iron Maiden, Ron. I don't listen to Iron Maiden at all. I'm more of a Jethro Tull guy. No offense to Iron Maiden. I'm sure they're good. By the way, you know who's a total hack? John Mellencamp. John Mellencamp, calling out John Mellencamp because he's doing ads and promoting Bloomberg because Bloomberg is using his insipid music. We're going to do a longer segment on that Tuesday because we're not going to have Music Monday because I'm going to be traveling back from Arizona. So no live show on Monday, but on Tuesday, we're going to do a segment on John Mellencamp. John Cougar breaks my heart. Do not give John Cougar that amount of power. Don't give any musician that amount of power. Don't give any person that amount of power. Well, you can't prevent that. Someone's going to break your heart, Paul. I'm sure someone already has. That's just the reality. But don't let it be John Cougar Mellencamp. It's going to be a person. It's going to be a person that you fall in love with or whatever it is, you know. Ron, have you ever listened to Volbeat? I have not. No. Yeah, I've not listened. What is that? Here, let me Google it. I'll Google it real quick. A Danish rock band formed in Copenhagen. They play a fusion of rock and roll, heavy metal, and rockabilly. That's quite a mix. Really? Rock and roll, heavy metal, and rockabilly. Rockabilly. I just said rockabilly. It's Friday, y'all. What? This is our casual patron stream. We're having fun. Rockabilly. That is quite a. Hey man, we play a combo. We're like metal, fusion, punk. Well, that fusion happens, certainly. That's an interesting mix, though. That really is. I dig it. I will check it out. It sounds interesting. I'm not a big metal guy, but I definitely like, I'm not against metal. It's just usually not always my cup of tea. I like Motorhead. And I like some of the like hardcore verging on metal that kind of came about in the early aughts. I like some of that stuff. Poison the Well, I like. But I've never been a huge metal guy. Broke up a band because the guitarist wanted to go more metal and I just wasn't feeling it. Not a big metal guy. But I like it. I'm more of a punk guy. More of a punk guy. It's always been me. I'm more of a Clash guy. I'm more of a we talk music often enough. You know where I'm at. Yeah. So anyway, I'll tell you what, the person who I really want to talk to musically, I know we've been talking about a lot about Sounds of Revolution, which is my new interview series I'm working on. We had the first episode. It was Jill Stein. It went really well. And I'm trying to do more of those. I want to do them in person in a different studio. And I'm working on that, which, by the way, for those of you who are watching this live and you are not patrons at the moment, patreon.com/Ron Placone. If you are so able and willing for a Give What You Can level, you get all kinds of exclusive content. You get the replay of this stream, and you get to submit the articles I use for this stream. I only respond to what the patrons send me for this stream. And you get other exclusive videos. I'm going to be premiering a new protest song later on the Patreon, and you get all kinds of fun stuff. It's for a Give What You Can level. And you help me expand the show. You help me make Sounds of Revolution happen. You help me make mini documentaries around city-owned internet. I really want to do that. That's the next level for Get Your News On with Ron. I do need more resources to make that happen. So if you are so able, patreon.com/Ron Placone, even $1 a month goes a long way. Seriously, that's the truth. $1 a month, even $1 a month, if that's all you can give, it goes a long way. And you can give whatever you're comfortable with. The suggested tier is $5 because you have to pick something. So my suggested tier is $5. But if that's too high for you or you don't feel comfortable giving that much, you can put in whatever level you want, whatever amount you want, and everyone still gets all the same stuff. All of my posts are for all patrons. All right. So patreon.com/Ron Placone. Thank you very much, Dominic, and thank you very much, George, for this week's topics. Thank you very much for your patronage, and thank you very much for this week's topics. Shout out to Hoot Hoot for sharing that Bernie video that we were able to jump to. I appreciate that. And let's see here. Kate, thank you very much for the Super Chat contribution. Patrick, Krillin, Damien, Tisha, Dudist, Krillin again. Thank you all very, very much for the Super Chat contribution. Guys, you make Get Your News On with Ron possible. I know it's a cliche and every content creator says it, but with me, it's super, super true. Get Your News On with Ron would not be able to exist without your patronage and without your support on the show. It just wouldn't. I wouldn't be able to do it. Like, your support means everything. You guys tweeting the articles, sharing the topics, that means everything because that's how we build the show. That's the premise of the show. You guys are like, hey, Ron, this is what's going on. And I'm like, cool, let's make it our own. That's the theme song. It's all in the theme song. The theme song. Man, are you guys going to watch the debate tonight? Here, I'm going to play a drinking game. The drinking game I'm going to play is every time they actually bring up the corruption that happened in Iowa, I'm going to take a drink. Why is that the drinking game I chose? Because I'm drying out right now. So that way I won't drink anything. Blind Seer, what's up? Thank you very much for the Super Chat contribution. You're awesome. Thank you very much, Blind Seer. You're awesome too. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. So you're going to be sober? No, not completely. So I do dry January every year. I've been doing dry January since 2014. And what is dry January, Ron? It's a cheesy thing. I can be honest. It's a dumb, cheesy thing that was like on the blogosphere and in the blogs and in the New Living blogs and stuff like that. And it's where you just make the choice to dry out for January. You just don't have any booze in January. Kind of just hit a reset. I'm not a big drinker at all, really, but I do dry January. I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna walk away for a little bit. So I do a sober month in dry January. I've extended that for a little bit this year because I'm trying to get in shape for my wedding. So I'm not doing booze for a little while. I'm not going to do it forever because, I'm having a bachelor party. I'm going to have a couple drinks there. It's my bachelor party. I'm going to have a couple drinks at my wedding, obviously. So, that's where I'm at. And you know what? I don't know if my plan's even working out because I'm not a very disciplined person when it comes to food. What I'll do in my mind is I'll be like, because I'm not drinking, I can just eat like an asshole. And I'll be like, yeah, let's go out for pizza. Let's do this. Let's do that. I'm going to have pasta again. Once again, I'm going to have pasta. I'm going to treat pasta like a food group because that's just something that I'm going to do. Is it wrong? Of course it is. Grossly unhealthy. Totally pack on the weight. But after this, I'm going to go to a Tibetan buffet where I'm going to eat like an asshole. I'm meeting a friend there. And of course, it was my idea. I'm like, we got this Tibetan buffet rules, which it does. It's delicious. It's very healthy food. But I'm going to eat too much of it because because I am. I mean, at least I am. It's just for sure going to happen. Dudist Priest, what's up? How do we get the UN to start monitoring our elections? We like to screw with other countries. I would love that, actually. I would love it if we totally had this outside entity like the UN or someone monitoring our elections. So I don't know how. I don't know how, but yeah, I like that. I like that idea. I'm for it. But yeah, so anyway, yeah, I'm gonna so because I'm not drinking, my point is, because I'm not drinking, I'm like, oh, I can eat this now because I'm not drinking. So I'm basically just substituting my calories for food. Like, I'm basically just like, oh yeah, I'm not drinking, so I'll have this donut or this whatever it is. I actually haven't had a donut in a really long time. There's a really good vegan donut place right down the street from me. It's delicious. And I walk by it and don't break down every single time. A couple times, the only reason I didn't break down is because my fiance didn't let me. That's the truth. I'm just being honest. I'm like, let's go. And she's like, let's not. And I'm like, you're right. But there have been times by myself where I've not done it. Yeah. At the debate, Bernie should ask Pete, what's up, Artificial Morphosman? Good to see you, Artificial Morphosman. Hope you are having a wonderful Friday. Happy weekend. At the debate, Bernie should ask Pete and the moderators and the media, what part of 6,000 more votes do you not understand? I am with you, Artificial Morphosum. Schultzy, what's up, buddy? Flight of Arcarius, Iron Maiden baby. Iron Maiden baby. I'll check it out. It's not that I don't have a problem with Iron Maiden. I have nothing against them. I'm just not super familiar, Reefer Revolution. I know the obvious, I know the obvious, but I'm not going to know any deep cuts from Iron Maiden. Sparky. Oh, I missed a couple of super chats. Thank you guys. Sparky, did you see Jimmy on Tucker Carlson? He killed it. I did see it. And yeah, it was pretty good. Tucker just kind of let him go, which was cool. Like, Tucker was just like, he just gave Jimmy a launching point and Jimmy just went. And the entire segment was basically Jimmy just said what he wanted to say. So that was cool. And then Tucker Carlson was just like, all right, Jimmy Dore. But yes, I did see it. I don't remember everything he said because I watched it a little while ago. But yeah, I did see the segment. Tibetan buffet, what all is involved? All right, I'll tell you guys. So Tibetan food, if you've ever had, Tibetan food is not the most common thing in the world. In Tibet it is. Maybe that was a weird choice of phrase. In the United States, Tibetan food is not the easiest type of cuisine to find. But Tibetan food is basically, imagine if Thai food and Indian food had a very delicious baby. Thai food and Indian food meet, and they have these spices that really aren't neither, but are really freaking delicious. And that's Tibetan food. That's the best way I can describe it. I got really hip to Tibetan food at a young age because, well, not super, I was in college, but where I went to college in Bloomington, Indiana, there's a big Buddhist community in Bloomington. Why is that? Because back in the day, the university was one of the first universities in the United States to bring over some of the Tibetan monks to do their studies. And they really liked South Central Indiana. They thought it was really pretty. They loved the fall there. They thought it was a really good place to do their work and to meditate. So it became a Buddhist hub in the United States. It still is to this day. That's Bloomington, Indiana. The cuisine has also followed, and there are some very good Tibetan restaurants right in Bloomington. There used to be two of them. There was one called the Snow Lion, one called Little Tibet, both freaking delicious. The Snow Lion unfortunately closed, which was, that hurt my heart so much. The Snow Lion was one of my favorite restaurants in the world ever. And it was run by the Dalai Lama's cousin. And the Dalai Lama's cousin died. And after he died, now this was kind of recent. This was long after I was out of college at IU, but he died. And after he died, nobody was able to maintain the restaurant, so it closed. Ouch. It was really sad. It was I have so many great memories attached to that place. And anyway, but so I got really hip to Tibetan food. I really love Tibetan food. So what are kind of a lot of the things at this buffet? Amazing lentil soup. they do a lo mein, but it's different. It's not like the lo mein that you would get in a Chinese restaurant necessarily. It's different. They use different types of spices. They use it's very vegetable heavy. And then you'll see things like what else do they have? You'll see a lot of like mint chutneys and stuff like that. You'll see naan. You'll see stuff like that. You'll see a lot of vegetable curry. So it's very similar to Indian food. So yeah, no offense, Ron, but I figured that you'd be the first one from the Jimmy Dore show to sell out and go on Fox News. Just kidding. Always good to get the word out. Okay. No offense taken. Yeah, I don't think going on Fox News or going on any platform means that you sold out. It depends on what you do with that platform. If you go on a platform and you call people out, that's cool. That's my thought. But, let's see here. Artificial morphosum. At the debate, Bernie could say, I have never declared a victory with 0% reporting. I'm with you, artificial morphosman. Right on. Guys, thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you very much for your contributions. Thank you very much for your thoughts. Thank you very much for being part of this. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. If you're interested in becoming a patron, that's where you can see the replay of this. And, it goes a long way. I really want to get those mini docs happening. City-owned internet is my cause of choice. It's the cause I really want to try to spearhead. And I think mini docs is the best way to try to build a national coalition around that. I know some of you have been working on that with me, and I appreciate it so much. It's been a long, it's not easy, but I think we're going to win this thing. And that's what's got to happen, because if we want systemic change in this country, no matter what happens in November, it's going to happen one community at a time. It's not going to happen any other way. That's the reality. It's going to happen one community at a time. It's not going to happen any other way. Thank you guys so much for being part of this. Happy weekend. Enjoy the debate. I guess I'll live tweet it. That's the only way it's fun for me, is if I live tweet it. Otherwise, it's just cringe. Enjoy the debate. Happy weekend. I will see you guys for a regular Get Your News On with Ron on Tuesday. Monday, I'm traveling, but I'll see you all on Tuesday. Until then, you know the drill. Lucy says meow. I say peace. Peace. Thank you for your patronage. None of this would exist without you. Literally none of it.